Welcome to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. First of all, on Tuesday, April 22nd and 23rd, will be the annual New Jersey Chamber of Commerce train ride to Washington, D.C. This train trip has been postponed from February due to snow and inclement weather, so we'll be going in April. On Wednesday, the Greater Elizabeth Chamber of Commerce in the evening will have a business after hours networking event for members of the business community and the political community and the religious and educational community as well. It'll be at Mojito's Restaurant located at 525 Bayway Avenue. On April 25th at 11 o'clock in the morning, I'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Community Development Block Grant Program, a program started under Richard Nixon, and the theme for this year is preparation, progress, and delivering quality services. It's the great things that our community has accomplished with CDBG funds from the inception of this program. This event will be held at the Elizabeth Public Library on South Broad Street in Elizabeth. That evening at 7 o'clock, I'll attend the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. It'll be their networking event at the Renaissance Hotel located at 1000 Spring Street. On Saturday, April 26th at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Special Olympics will be held at Carteret High School, of which I'll attend the opening ceremonies with the Elizabeth delegation. And later that afternoon, the Missionaries on a Mission fundraiser at Holy Tabernacle, located at 652 South Park Street. That evening at 6 o'clock, the Portugal Day Committee's pageant will be held at the Portuguese Instructive Social Club. This is where they crown the King and the Queen for the Portugal Day Parade in the beginning of June. On April 27th, I'm going to be pleased to be joined by my friend Dan Varity in a walk for MS. It will be located at the Oak Ridge Park in Clark. The dollars raised help support life-changing programs and cutting-edge research into MS, the causes and the possibilities for cures. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 820-4124. And for the first part of this evening's show, I'm pleased to be joined by Mary Lucy Lopes, who is a coordinator at the Jewish Family Services for Alzheimer's and related dementia program. Mary Lucy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you're an Elizabeth girl from the beginning, you told me in the beginning of the show. Yes. And we met.
We have met before.
So tell us that story.
So I met you back when I was in first grade, and I was attending St. Genevieve's School. And it was the day that we learned that the mayor was coming to our school, and we learned what a mayor does and everything. And I was excited because it was also when I found out what my grandfather was a mayor as well of a city. This is in Portugal. I'm from Portugal. My family is. So it was just really funny because I thought, oh, so this is what a mayor does, and oh, okay, now I understand what my grandfather did. And so then you came and we got to meet you. And my favorite part was that after you shook everybody's hand, the girl behind me online actually said, she grabbed her hand and she said, "Oh my God, I'm never washing this hand again." So
that's a great story.
Really funny to me.
So
I'm here again now.
Since you met me in first grade, you're only 10 years old
now,
right?
This was only like 2 years ago that happened. So time flies.
Tell your background. You have a great educational background. Tell us about that.
So I went to Rutgers University for my undergrad studies, where I did a double major in sociology and English, and I minored in Portuguese World Studies as well.
That was hard.
Well, yeah, it was very challenging. No, but it was interesting. It was great to get that opportunity to really, at that level of education, you go into it in a different way. So that was, I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I took some time and I worked in the field of mental health, which really led to my passion and my greatest interest, which is working with older adults and families. And so that's what led me to make the decision to get my master's in social work. And what I like most about the field of social work is the fact that it is such a, it's a broad field. A lot of people don't usually know a social worker can really do a lot of different things. They can range from doing things that are clinical, so it's a more like one-on-one relationship with clients where you might typically think of it as like a therapy, it's a clinical therapy or something. But then you can also go other routes, which are more community organizing, planning, or program planning. You can go policy, advocacy. There's so many ways. And so I really liked it, and I decided to go that route. And
So your master's degree is from Columbia University?
yes,
And your undergraduate's from?
Rutgers.
So you stayed home for Rutgers. How was the transition from Rutgers to Columbia?
Exciting, and I really welcomed it. I wanted to pursue my studies further, but I love being in New York. I love the city environment as well. So I feel like there's such diversity there, and you're exposed to so much. So I actually, I lived there while I was going to school there, and after that, I decided to transition back into New Jersey. And so far it's been great. I'm happy to. It's something nice about like coming back to where you were from and being able to work with people.
And you're with the Jewish Family Services?
I am. Now I'm working with Jewish Family Services.
And how did you just interview for that, or? So
I did. I was lucky to get an interview, and it went well. I felt like what I wanted to do really fit in with what their mission is. And, they do so many different services there as well. The things I was talking about with social work, how it can do so many different things, that's what the social workers there do. There's also a major nursing component to JFS. I say Jewish Family Services, I call it JFS, that's what we're known as. And so that's what I'll be saying, JFS.
Now, Mary Lucy, the first question I have in my notes is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia.
Right.
And I think a lot of people always assume it's the same thing.
Right.
With your training and your knowledge, what is the difference?
Right. So we just started this program over at Jewish Family Services about Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's been one of the most common questions. We get people asking us, what's the difference? Or they say, oh no, he or she, my whoever they're caring for, doesn't have dementia, they have Alzheimer's, or vice versa. And so what it really is that dementia is actually just a general term, and it's an umbrella term for cognitive impairment, some kind of impairment in someone. And so it can present in over hundreds of ways for so many different reasons. It can be temporary, it can be something that's because of an infection, or something related to diabetes, or a thyroid deficiency, vitamin deficiency. It can be for a lot of things, or it can be more specific. It can be something that's known as a Lewy body dementia, a vascular dementia, or something like Pick's disease, which is frontal temporal lobe dementia. And then Alzheimer's is actually the most common form of dementia. So Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. It falls under the umbrella of dementias. And it happens to be the sixth leading cause of death right now in the country. So it is the most common form of dementia. There's no cure. And
so how do you know, Mary Lucy? I forget where I put my keys. I forgot the book, or you've been in this conversation and you say, what was that guy's name? And you've known the guy for 20 years.
Yep. I know, that's actually the question I always get. The minute I start talking about this, people always start to say right away, wait, this morning I couldn't remember where I left my keys or something. So the thing that I always stress, and that you really want to keep in mind, is that it's based on what's normal for you. Were you always the type of person who forgot where you were leaving your keys? Did you always forget people's names? Or is this something more new to you now? It's important to remember it's not a normal part of aging, because oftentimes people say, oh, they're getting older, it's normal. So sometimes it's not. It could be for other reasons. Maybe you were stressed out, or you didn't get enough sleep. But for the most part, it's what's typical for you. And another quick example is knowing there's a difference between forgetting where you put your car keys and forgetting what the car key is for. So that's a big way to distinguish.
That's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
When do you suggest a caregiver then?
So for a caregiver, I would suggest that a lot of times people want to know, how do I know if they have it? And so if you suspect that there's some kind of issue, you're seeing that the person's not acting the way that they usually act, because oftentimes the person with dementia isn't aware of what's going on. So if you're a family or friend and you have this concern, it's definitely something I would say you speak immediately to a doctor or a specialist in the field about, to get their opinion. And after you've spoken to them, based on what they tell you, you would then start to prepare some kind of plan of care. And the earlier, the better. Early interventions often.
So Mary Lou, what makes your program different than other programs?
So I kind of alluded to it in the beginning. It's also just about our agency, but the thing that I think makes us different is the fact that we have the option to include a nurse in our interventions. So it's a more comprehensive and holistic approach to care. It's getting different perspectives of people in the field.
When you talk about holistic, talk to me, but what do you mean?
So not necessarily. So for example,
what other issues in the holistic approach?
So environmental is a very big one. You want to make sure that safety in the home is a big issue, and so the nurses are really, and social workers as well, but it's something that there's a little bit more of actual practical need. It's not something that a medication or something is really going to change. It's more about creating a safe environment and knowing how a person's going to react to their environment when they're feeling impaired or there's a cognitive impairment.
Mary Lucy, one of the struggles, I guess, as a caregiver or as a person who works in this field is, how do you measure success? How do you have a good day?
Right.
You know, it's got to be hard.
So I think the best thing to do, or to have those days, would be to prepare yourself and form some kind of support system that's best for the caregiver. So there's going to be days that are unpredictable. Some days might feel like a good day. The next day might be the worst day. That's the nature of the process of dementia as well. That's why it's so challenging for people, because you just sometimes are completely surprised with what you see. So the best thing I would say is, having the caregiver just already have a system in place for those days, someone that they can call or speak to, or some kind of backup plan.
So is there a fee for the services at JFS?
There's no fees. We're really lucky. We're funded by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey and the New Jersey Federation of Metro West. So all of our funds are being going towards the people.
Now, do you meet with the clients, Mary Lucy, or
yes.
do you have you actually meet with the clients?
It's always going to be up to we primarily focus on the caregiver, so it's always going to be based on what the caregiver wants, what they're requesting. If they want to come out and meet with me, then I'm more than happy to. If it's needed, sometimes people aren't able to leave their home for things. I can also make home visits, and so it's really going to be whatever the caregiver feels comfortable with and what they're looking for. Is it just some kind of information, general information, or do they want something more specific? Because we do have more specific services and interventions.
And if somebody wanted this programmer to get in contact with you, they call just JFS? Is there a website or something?
Yep, they can call us. Our number is 908-352-8375.
How many clients do you deal with, though?
So we just started this program about 2 months ago.
It's growing.
We've just started enrolling people, so we're welcoming everyone. We also have a support group that's being offered once a month, every Friday, the first Friday of every month, and that's open and free to the public. Any caregiver is welcome to join. And for spousal caregivers, we have a more specific intervention based off of research done by, her name is Dr. Mary Middleman. She's from the NYU Langone Medical Center, and she's done over 20 years of research in the field. So for spouses who are caring for someone with Alzheimer's, we have a more specific, detailed intervention, which really just comes down to couple one-on-one individual sessions with 4 family sessions, and that's a place where people can really develop the plan of care, come together to communicate about what's expected and how they can handle difficult situations in the future.
Mary Lucy, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show.
Thank you so much.
I hope as the program goes, you can come back and tell us
Yes,
about some of the successes.
You. And,
thank you.
It was funny, just seeing you 2 years ago and now seeing you again. So that was good.
For Mary Lucy Lopes, please stay with us after these messages. We're back with more of Our City.